church of the Finnish Orthodox religion. So the Finnish Orthodox are one of the two main religions in Finland, the other being the Lutherans. Lutherans cover about 60% of the population, but Finnish Orthodox is only 1% of the population, so about 60,000 people. So we've got a pretty nice church considering that we have a lot less people than the Lutherans. But this place was originally built between 1868 and around the Russian time, so that's why you can see a lot of elements of Russian architecture, Russian church architecture. So this was built only in 5 years. So we didn't have any technology back then, so it's quite impressive, especially considering that we like that behind us. It was built in 20 years, so even back in the day, it was really fast. So when you came to the church, you probably noticed there was the red facade, red bricks. So only the outer walls are actually originally made of cathedral, but the inner walls are recycled material. There used to be a fortress called Uspenski in the Åland archipelago next to Sweden. The archipelago was demilitarized after the Crimean War, so every single military building had to be deconstructed or reused. So they tore down the fortress and brought the bricks here, so we saved a lot of money and also recycled a lot of material. Because back then they didn't really think about the nature side of recycling, but now it sounds so nice. So they brought them here, they worked, and back in the day we used to have a small railroad that went up the hill, specifically for the building of the cathedral. That's how they brought all of the building material here, and of course once it had to use, it was not down as well. Unfortunate for us, we have to now walk up the hill every day instead of taking that nice railroad right here. Yeah. So one of the other things on the inside you might have noticed are the 13 million column of the church. So those symbolizes Jesus and 12 apostles. There's also a 14th one added later on top of the bell tower, and that symbolizes the prayers of the people. The people are not fully golden, they've only been gilded with gold leaf, but thanks to the gilding technique, they actually started to stay shiny for a long while. The last time they were rebuilt was in 2007, so it's been over 15 years and they're still quite shiny, I would say. And each one only takes about one wedding bricks worth of gold to build, so also quite economical, I would say. And when you came inside the church, you probably noticed the 4 big pillars we have here. So these are Doric columns, and they're made out of British granite. And each one has been chiseled from one big granite, so quite again from for a time. And yeah, the power letters are pretty impressive what they got up here. And the other very strong element inside, you probably noticed it, it's the iconostasis. So the wall of icons, they're a staple element in every Orthodox church. They come in every different shapes and sizes, as well as styles. But we each have elements that are the same. So for example, in the middle, there's always royal figures. So the iconostasis separates the main wall from the altar. The altar is the holiest place in the church, and it's often considered also mystical. So that's why the iconostasis covers the altar, so mysticism stays alive in the religion. But during the divine services, you can actually see inside the altar. So if you're here on Saturday or Sunday, we have services then, and that's when the doors are open and you can see the priests where they're holding all the ceremonies within the altar. Also, always on the right side, we have Jesus Christ. On the left side, we have the Virgin Mary. And often, the guardian angels are the side doors. So the altar is only accessible for the clergymen and the workers of the church. So the workers of the church always have to go to the altar on the side doors. We can't use the main doors. That's the only work of priests and clergymen. So you might wonder, what are icons then? So icons are holy paintings, often depicting holy people or holy events from the Bible. We have a ton of different icons here, but only the iconostasis is an original art piece that was made for the cathedral specifically. Usually we don't know who paints the icons, they're painted by monks and clergymen, like who don't say their work. But during the 18th and 19th century Russia, there were there are a lot of professional icon painters, and one of those paint our icon these days. So that's why we know that the art these days is painted by Pavel Silsov, a Russian academic and a icon painter. It's also nice to say that this is the last complete work that is left in the world. Other icons, he's made are either lost in time or in pieces in different churches. So it's the only full art piece he's made that's still beautiful like this, which makes it quite unique. It has a lot of inspiration from Italian artwork with more anatomically correct proportions compared to the Greek icon styles, which are less accurate anatomically. So all the icons we actually have here are not originally from here. They come from old Finland. So back after the Second World War, we lost 10% of our land mass to the Soviet Union. A lot of Orthodox churches were within this land mass, and of course religion was prohibited in the Soviet Union. So a lot of the icons and artifacts were moved to normally evacuated here or in museums. Our most famous icon, the icon we're working icon of Uspenski, on the left side over here with the blue background, is also from old Finland. And it had its name, its miracle working title, when it healed a deadly virgin's daughter. It also became famous with normal Finnish people in 2010 when it was stolen. So during the night, 3 thieves came through the window and saw, because back in the day, the icon used to have a beautiful golden pearl cover, and they saw it and they thought that it must be worth some money, so they took the whole icon with them. They sold the gems and gold, so we never got those back. But the icon itself doesn't have that much more monetary value, so they hid it in a park underground in Finland. And that's where it first over the winter. The thieves did get caught, and one of them confessed the location of the icon. So then we knew where it was, and we got it back. But it had taken some serious damage, obviously being underground for the whole winter. So we had to go through a restoration process in a monastery. It was in total, it was away from the cathedral for half a year, but it has returned, and it has thankfully stayed there ever since. You can see a lot of jewelry around the icon. Those are all gifts from people. So when people feel like their prayers have been answered, they might give a gift as a thank you to the icon. We still get about 2 to 3 gifts for this specific icon every month. And nowadays the canvas is too heavy, so we can't put anymore into the canvas, so all of the jewels and stuff are put under the icon. Yeah, people still give gifts to this day. And next to that icon, there's also another interesting icon. It's an icon of a Russian holy man called Saint Seraphim of the South. And what makes this specific icon very interesting is the 2 relics imbued into the icon. So Seraphim's fingertips, or finger bones, are in the icon, so that's the only relic we know of that's visible here at the church. Each icon here has its own story, how it got here, what it represents, and I can be talking about them for hours probably. So I'd like to lastly pay your attention to the 2 most important artifacts here. So we have 2 symbolic tools here, one on the right side and one on the left side. So the one on the right side is an original art piece made for the church. It was used for a while, but now it's too frail to be moved. During the Easter service, the symbolic tomb, this tomb symbolizes the tomb of Jesus Christ, is brought to the middle of the church, and it's there for the Bride Week or the Easter week. But nowadays, as this one's a museum piece, we have the white one over here, which is used to this day. It's brought to the middle of the church. You have the bride, a photo of the Easter week there, so you can see it there. But the white one is also interesting, because if you have been, or if you're going to even so over here inside, the Sorting Fortress, there is a Lutheran church there, which used to be an Orthodox church. So once it was changed to the Lutheran church, a lot of items were brought here. And this basket here is one of those items, so it has its own history. The cathedral is a religious place as well as a small museum, as you've noticed, a lot of history from all around Finland. And I could be talking this presentation. But I'll be here if you're interested in asking more about my vehicle, or if you want any tips on traveling around Helsinki or Finland, I'm happy to help you. But for now, thank you.